But yeah, how are you both?
Oh, good, yeah.
Good, yeah.
Little break at the moment.
Enjoying it?
Yeah.
Do you say you're off for 10 days?
Yeah, I got 10 days off.
Yeah, a week and a half.
It was like 4 weeks off from the league altogether, roughly.
Yeah.
So we go to Marbella, don't we?
Yeah, we're going to Marbella for 5 days,
Nice.
5-6 days, something like that, on next
Monday.
week. So that should be good.
Nice.
Just training in it for when we get back.
I think we've got a couple of friendlies in there.
Yeah.
Keep us fit and everything.
Yeah.
A bit like another pre-season, I think.
Oh, nice. Do you have a lot of players out at the World Cup or no?
No, there's no one in our squad, is there?
No, there was a couple that were close.
Yeah, Ryan Hedges for Wales, I think he was on there.
He was in the 55-man short
Okay.
but then it did take it down to 26.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
end up getting
So
fixed.
it's out.
Yeah, I saw Brighton was meant to go to Chile, not for the World Cup, for some friendlies, and didn't do that, right? That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so like just to start off, like tell me about your experiences with the academy. Like I know you both kind of had different experiences. You both started off young, so obviously you went out on loan a lot before kind of cracking into the first team, and you obviously went all the way up quite earlier. So what were like your experiences coming through the academy?
Well, I joined when I was 12, which is a bit later than Adam, obviously. But yeah, I was just playing like Saturday Sunday League football just down the road here.
Wiltshire Wanderers.
Wiltshire Wanderers, get that in, yeah. And yeah, just like enjoying my football with my friends really. Nothing serious. And then when I was 12 and did sign for Blackburn, it wasn't really serious then at the time. I was just more enjoying it and wanting to improve and get better. And up until about 15, 16, that's when it started getting a little bit more serious, and you sort of think about not contracts, more like the scholarship first. I think, yeah, but getting that scholarship and then trying to get your pro contract, I think that's the aim, obviously. But I think it was at 12, I was just enjoying my football and loved it really, so it was nothing too serious. But being in the academy, there was a lot of people from all over really, from the northwest up and down the country, and I really enjoyed it. We had a good age group, me personally, so some good times.
Nice. And what about going out on loan? You went on 3 or 4 loan spells,
Yeah,
right?
I've done quite a few loan spells. Started off at Cambridge, then went to Lincoln twice, then went to Bury, then Northampton, so all in League Two.
You helped a lot of them get promoted, right? As
Yeah, got 3 promotions in there, so that was good. One with Lincoln, one with Bury, and then one Northampton by the playoffs. And that was the COVID year as well, so went to Wembley with no fans, which was a shame.
Oh
but
no!
yeah, it was
Was that
good.
the first time you played at Wembley as well?
No.
Properly, yeah. I mean, we played with school obviously when we was younger, but professionally, yeah. And we won 4-0. There was no fans, so a bit of a anti-climax, but it was a great day nonetheless.
Yeah, do you reckon the loan spells helped you quite a lot, because that's usually the main reason players go out on loan, to get like first team experience?
Yeah, definitely. I think the way I did it in my position, I think you sort of getting into the first team at an older age rather than maybe someone like Adam who went at dead young. I did make my debut obviously at 18, but then I went out on loan for 3 or 4 seasons. I think it was like valuable for me to get that experience and proper men's football.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really the most physical player, but I needed to be, and I needed to like toughen up, and I think
The low league's definitely roughened you up a little bit.
exactly. So I did learn a lot, and yeah, I definitely would not change how I've done it. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Nice. And what about you, Adam? Because your experience was like quite different from Scott.
Yeah, so when Scott joined at 12, he got asked if he had any brothers who played football. So that's how I originally got. And obviously I was just playing at school and at Wiltshire Wanderers at the time. I think I was 6 or 7, something like that. And so I just went, I think it was once a week on like a Friday after school. And I just kept going. And it was obviously, because I was so young, I didn't really know like it was, you were going to go on to play professionally or anything like that. So it was a bit like I'm just playing for fun really. and obviously being in there at such a young age, you learn a lot, like constantly going. So I was just going there having fun.
You're still playing local football?
Yeah,
right?
and then at under 9s, if you sign for the club to the academy, you have to like stop playing Sunday League. So I stopped playing Sunday League, started going to Blackburn more, and kept going. And then under 12s, Blackburn had a connection with a school, Moreland in Clitheroe.
Okay.
I think because of the Category 1 status, which is like means Blackburn are the top academies in England.
Yeah.
They had to have people full time going to like a school or something like that.
Yeah.
So there was a few of us that went to Moreland. So I was there, and like because they had a connection with the school, we were able to come out some days early to like go and train. So it obviously benefited me more, training more, and they knew they could just take me out if they wanted me to train and stuff like that. So went there till obviously the end of school, 16, and then you get told about scholarships. So I got a scholarship after that, and that was only 2 years ago really.
How long ago was that?
Yeah, and then just kept playing. To be fair, the first year I didn't really play a lot, my scholar, and then second year I had a good year playing a bit of the 21s, and then this season, pre-season, sort of just got myself into the first team. So it's been quite fast.
It has been really
playing
fast,
under
isn't it?
18s last probably 5-6 months ago, and then now in around the first team. So
And you just signed your new contract, right? Which is 5 or 7 years, is it? 5 years.
Yeah.
But it was like came not long after you signed your first professional contract, right?
Yeah, so I signed my professional contract in February, I think. So that was just before the end of the season, really. But obviously they weren't thinking about me sort of being involved with the first team. They thought I'd do it with the 21s, and it was for 2 years. So
I think what helped you as well, like the new manager this season.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he came in
Yeah.
was just like a fresh start for everyone, weren't it, really?
Yeah.
And we'd lost a few players from last season anyway, and because he came in quite late to pre-season, we'd not signed many players, so it was a good opportunity for younger lads to be involved in pre-season.
Yeah.
And Adam, and there's a few others as well that have done really well this season, younger lads. So
Stan had said that. He said the new manager is quite likes to bring through the academy players and play them, give them a chance. Do you feel like that's been the experience you've had?
Yeah, definitely. And Greg Broughton coming in. There's been a lot of like players from the academy that have got new contracts, sort of like showing trust in them. So I think, especially for the ones coming through the academy now as well, it's a good sign, because they're showing that, you know, if you do well in the academy, then they're gonna believe in you. So
So what was pre-season like? Talk me through that a little bit, because obviously it would have been your first one away with the team, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And yours not.
Yeah, no, I think I've done a few pre-seasons now with first team at Blackburn, and each one's different. I mean, this was very different this year. It was, I'd say, it was a lot more football. I'm used to sort of like
better, really.
Yeah, the lads were made up about it. The ball's out first day, because usually it's just like running for
really?
Yeah.
Like cardio type things before
Yeah,
you
just
non-stop. Yeah.
So like, for
You're
example,
like,
No, I don't like that at all.
For example, we'd do like previous seasons, the fitness coach would just take you for like a week or 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that, and then you start getting the balls out.
Just running between poles, weren't you?
Yeah. Whereas this season, the manager came in and it was day one, get the footies out, and not much running at all. It was just be involved in the sessions, weren't it, rather than just doing running drills.
Yeah, there's a couple of sessions before he came.
Yeah.
He came like halfway into the first week of pre-season. So
well, it was nothing compared to what you used to.
And then as soon as he got involved, it was more football, but the football was a lot harder than usual.
In what way?
Like really intense.
Okay.
So if you weren't intense, then he'd be like screaming at you and stuff to like get because he wanted us to get the fitness in during our football.
Yeah.
And then we'd do like top up runs, but they weren't necessarily hard, were they? Just to halfway like tempo runs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he wanted the football to be really intense because you can run doing like between poles, but it's completely different sort of fitness to football, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Like matching them up after.
Yeah.
You better kind of like doing them both at the same time.
you can't sort of
You
that
can't.
match fitness,
yeah.
that sharpness you need is just so
Can't
much
replicate it.
different to actually getting the football and doing drills rather than just running between poles or whatever.
Like, when
Yeah.
you're injured, you'll do the runs to get back fit again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you get back into it again and you're still tired after a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's so much more intense.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
interesting you said that because Sam mentioned that he'd said he wanted Blackburn to be the first club in the league when he
Yeah.
first came in. So it's
Mhm.
interesting that he's not started you off with just fitness training but actually football instead.
Yeah, I think it's just his way of doing things. I think
Yeah.
everyone's different, coaches and managers, and obviously he's done all right previously at his different clubs out in Sweden, Malmo and that. But no, we enjoyed it. Pre-season, went to Portugal as well.
Yeah, for a week.
Went a
Got
week
time
there.
for a bit.
Yeah, summer camp. No, it was good.
Yeah.
And then into the season we went. Yeah.
Yeah. So just going back to the new manager, obviously Blackburn Rovers had a really big change this season. Must have been quite weird having Morobi go after 5 years as well. And then, like you mentioned, there's some big players that have left. Lenihan, club captain, obviously played the same position as you.
Mhm.
I'm assuming he was quite like a good mentor for you. And then they brought in Tyler Morton as well. But they haven't really kind of like added much more depth to that position that you play. What are your thoughts on that and the manager and his approach in general?
I think they might have. I think with the way pre-season went, I think obviously they brought Tyler in on loan, which I think for me is a good sign really, because obviously he's here for this season, but after this season he obviously goes back to Liverpool, and then it's sort of like another spot. So I think it's good really, because obviously they look like they're planning ahead. So obviously there's, for the youngsters, if you obviously do well this season, then hopefully they trust you to play next season in the Championship.
And there's a reason he's not sent you out on loan this season as well.
Yeah, they spoke to me actually, and they said they didn't want me to go on loan because obviously I wanted to. It's good playing under 21s, but men's football is a lot different. And obviously I was looking at maybe going on loan just to get some experience at first team level in the leagues below. And yeah, they made it quite clear to me that they didn't want me to go out on loan, which I understand. Obviously, I was sort of saying like, am I going to get first team football? Is it worth me staying in the 21s at the time?
Yeah.
And they said, the managers obviously said like, if you're good enough, you're old enough, so sort of keep working and you could get your chance. So I just had to get my head down and sort of try and work my way into the team.
Yeah.
And it's paid off, to be fair.
Yeah, and you think having a new manager has helped that quite a lot? It's kind of sometimes when you've had a manager in a club for a long time and you come through the academy as a younger player, it's hard to wedge your way in because they're setting the way they play, the players that they choose to play.
Yeah, I think
it's unusual for a manager to be at a club for a start for like 5 years, what Moby was. I think he did really well at the club and built a lot of good foundations, getting us back into the Championship when we got relegated to League One, and then having a good sort of squad so that we were consistently mid-table. And then last season we just missed out on the playoffs, which was gutting really, because we should have we put ourselves in a good position after Christmas, and then we just sort of faded away to the end of the season. So we should have got playoffs, but we didn't. And then we did lose players, but that's football. Sometimes I think people come and go. That's just the way it is. People move on. So I think sometimes new people in the building is good, fresh ideas and fresh faces. So
it's like a fresh start, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's got to prove to them.
Point to prove. Yeah, there's no one going into this season probably thinking,
I'm definitely starting.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting.
Yeah.
New
That's
manager.
a good position to have sometimes,
Yeah.
because people know they're going to start a game in, game out. Like, you don't have to kind of work as hard because you know you nail down the starting 11.
Yeah, I think that's something that probably helps Adam and the younger boys because there's nothing to fear for them.
Yeah.
Just go out, train well, do well in the matches, and if he likes what he sees, he'll play you. And I think that's the good thing about this manager. I don't think he's bothered who you are or how old you are.
Yeah.
I think he'll just play the team what he thinks is best.
Yeah. I find it interesting because you had a lot of, like Lenihan was one of them, you had a lot of experienced older players leave at the end of last season. And I remember looking out for who you would sign instead, but you didn't actually sign a lot of players in the summer, which I thought was a bit weird.
Yeah, I think that was down to, I think we did lose our head scout last season, so over the summer we didn't really have like a head
There's
scout.
a lot of new faces across the whole club. Really.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that sort of helped people coming in the building really.
But I think as well they didn't want to just, because the fans were sort of on the back saying try and sign more players and stuff to make up for the players that have left, but a lot of clubs would have just buy players for buying sake.
Yeah.
Not really. Whereas I think the signings that we've got this season have definitely made an impact.
Yeah.
So I think the way they've done it's good, and obviously if they want more players, January, they can always get a few there.
I think it's different though with this season. Obviously now the break, the World Cup, it's just a different season whole.
Yeah,
totally.
Does it feel like that for Championship football?
Yeah,
games are a lot.
I mean, we're almost a third. How many have played 20 games?
Nearly halfway, really.
Yeah, we're nearly halfway already, and it's not even Christmas. So we have played a lot of games in a short space of time so far this season.
2 game weeks.
Yeah, which is it's tough. Like it's what you have a squad of players for. I mean, just go in and like Tuesday, Saturday, week after week. It catches up on you sometimes if you're playing a lot. But that's part and parcel of it. That's the Championship, and that's why it's one of the best leagues. And I think this is a good sort of break for the club and everyone in the league really to just sort of rest up, go again after the break, and sort of push on really.
Yeah. So you played in the cup game at West Ham. How was that playing in Olympic Stadium? Because it's one of my favourite stadiums.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just warms to watch. Yeah.
It's one of the best stadiums I've played in, definitely. I actually really like the song that they walk out to, Forever Blowing Bubbles.
Oh yeah.
When they sung that was like, wow.
You said they had it on the speakers.
They have it on the speakers as you're walking out.
Yeah.
The bubbles are like blowing as you walk out, and then it gets to a point and they like turn the speakers off, and then all the fans just like
belt out.
Yeah, honestly, so loud. Like it was crazy. I've imagined walking out to that every week. You'd be like, wow.
Yeah, hyped you up a lot.
Yeah, and that was probably wasn't as many fans as Premier League game.
No.
It wasn't like full, so it is crazy. But it was unreal. Blackburn had a lot of fans actually. Sport was good that night, and obviously we won on penalties. So
I know, what was that like after you came off before?
Yeah.
Would you have fancied one if you were still on the pitch?
Well, you would have had to take them all because it was what 10.
It was 10 players, yeah.
10, was it 10-9 in penalties?
Yeah. So every outfielder took a penalty on both teams. So I would have had to take one, yeah. I wouldn't have minded it, to be fair, but even just on the sidelines, like you get nervous a bit.
Yeah. You get nervous as a fan watching. I think that's probably worse.
I hate penalties.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than deciding the game from penalties. Like you've worked 90 minutes, usually goes to extra time.
Yeah, that's
like for example the World Cup now. Imagine getting to the semi-final, final, and going to penalties to decide if you've won the World Cup.
Yeah, I know. It's like the Euros last summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because usually as well, the team that lose on penalties, I always feel like they're the ones that play best in the full game. You just like missed out.
It's random, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's just football, isn't it? It's a good watch.
And you've got Nottingham Forest next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a good game. It'll still be a good game because
Yeah.
obviously they're Premier League this season.
But they've got, it always similar to West Ham, I think, because they did buy a whole new squad in summer.
Yeah, they've got a lot of players.
So
Do you think the manager will play younger team players again?
I think it'll be a similar team. Really.
Yeah, well, it depends who's playing in the league. I think he'll probably want to. From the cup game so far, he's sort of rested a few players who've been playing in the league, so we'll have to see really.
Yeah, whoever's playing in the league, I don't think will play.
Yeah.
It'll just be the same.
Yeah.
I mean, they won 3 games really, so.
Yeah. And then if you get through that, who would you fancy after that?
I wanted a big club, mate.
I want to beat. Yeah, Man City would have been good, or.
Nah, not Man City, because City are boring to play against. They just pass it about a lot. I think you prefer like a Liverpool away.
Yeah.
Or United away.
Arsenal.
Away, you want to play in a different stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play in the big stadiums, yeah.
Newcastle or something.
Yeah, that'd be
Newcastle will be a good one.
They got good fans up there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, interesting. So this is like your first season playing together in the first team, right? What's that been like? Are you like a bit protective, or are you more like don't step on my toes kind of thing?
Not protective. Like I've yet to sort of like obviously if someone like nailed Adam or something, I'll be straight over like. But no, I'm not protective. It's a bit weird, really. I don't think on the pitch for me anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see him as my brother really on the pitch. It's just like
when you're in the moment, you don't think about it one bit.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I just treat Adam as any other player that I like treat.
Yeah.
Like if I felt like I needed to get on his back a bit and he was having a bad game or whatever, I'd tell him. Or I still, it's just weird. It's not really.
You don't. I think like when you're in the moment.
But then when he scored, when you scored your goal, I was like, that's the only brotherly moment that I've felt on the pitch. But that's about it.
Nah, I think just like it's like even with the fans sometimes. Like sometimes you don't hear things that are going on in the crowd just because you're so focused on the game.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like that. Like, but then you get asked about it after games in interviews and stuff, and you're like, when you think back on it, it is like it's crazy, really. But yeah,
it must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I don't think there's many.
There's not many at all.
Not many brothers, no.
No.
How many siblings? We have Reece James and Lauren James, Chelsea. But other than that, I don't think there's many at all.
They used to have Shalbers, didn't they? Chelsea.
Yeah.
His brother used to play, didn't he? But there's not many that I can probably name who play in the same team. So it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, nice. So you just mentioned when you scored your goal. We've got to talk about your celebration because I was actually at that game as well.
Yeah.
It was so good. Talk me through that. Because I saw as well, you didn't actually intend to score. You were meant to like pass it off to Brighton or Gallagher, right?
I don't really take a lot of shots, to be fair. Maybe I should more. But I was obviously looking for a pass to one of the strikers because, they're more likely to score than me probably. But I just kept getting closer and closer to the goal, so I just thought I might as well have a go. And yeah, it went in. I wasn't expecting it to go in. So it was sort of a bit of a shock, and then I don't know, I've had it for years really. I've been able to do it, a backflip. And I never use it because I don't really score too often. But I thought, first goal, why not? So
First team you got as well.
Yeah, so it just came out. But I've said I'll only use it for special occasions now. So
okay, so what will class as a special occasion for you to use it again?
Last minute winner, something like that.
yeah, last minute winner, Burnley.
Surely you've got to put something better for Burnley.
I think I'd do that, and then I'd do a few other celebrations after. Yeah, I don't know, maybe against a big club.
Fair enough. Did you know he could do that?
I knew he could do it, but I didn't
You didn't expect
do
him
it. I just completely forgot, because the last time I seen him do it was probably like years ago. So
The last time I'd done it was at the start of last season, I think.
Felt like years ago anyway.
There's a bit of pressure now. What if you score? Are you gonna?
No, I've got nothing like that.
LSU.
Yeah, just put your finger up, yeah, classic. No, I'll just try and keep him out there really.
Yeah.
But mind you, I've scored
a few.
You scored quite a few this season.
Yeah, I've scored two so far. Probably should have scored a couple more, but
You win a lot of balls in the air.
yeah, I think that's
Corners.
one of my strengths really.
But it's
Set pieces scored a few
Yeah.
over the past few years. So So
Well, you had one cleared off the line, didn't you, against someone?
yeah, Hull, I think,
Yeah.
Rotherham as well. So
Yeah. So going from playing together, what happens when you go home? Do you still talk about football, Rose, or do you just try not to kind of ever talk about work when you're at home?
well, I don't live at home anymore, so I've been out the family home for.
Well, you've been on loan a lot, so you haven't.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I moved
4
out when I
or
was
5
20,
years.
so I'm 25 now. Yeah, 4 or 5 years. So it's probably different for me.
I think even when we do see each other, though, we do speak about.
Yeah, the
football.
topic of conversation is always football. Like,
Yeah.
my dad, 9 times out of 10, has got something to say about football because obviously he doesn't sit well. When I go around, he hasn't seen me in a while or whatever, so
Yeah.
he's wanting to know what's happening and how was training, what do you think of this, what do you think of that. But no, that's only because he cares and he enjoys it. He goes to every game, so
Yeah.
but
That fail.
yeah. I think he's just happy that we both don't have to go to 2 separate games now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Makes
true.
it-
Makes his life easier.
Do you ever split it like your mum goes to one, your dad goes to another?
Nah, my mum doesn't really.
She
She
just
goes
comes
to
up-
the home games.
Yeah,
really. She's been to a couple of
I
away
seen her a few.
games.
I saw her at Fulham last.
Yeah, she
year.
does like a good away
She likes
trip.
a London away trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's like
There's a
stay
few in, to be
overnight,
fair. They look like having a good
if you
time.
can stay overnight and go out or something, have a few drinks, she'll be there.
But she won't go to a Cobb away. or
No,
anything like that.
on Tuesday night, no.
What about Burnley? Did they go to that? Because obviously you weren't in the
Dad
squad
went.
and you were on the bench.
Yeah, my dad and brother went, my girlfriend went, and then that was it really.
Mum didn't go. No.
Just, my grandma's usually come to the home games as well, so they
Yeah.
probably could have gone, but it's just a bit tasty and fierce
Yeah,
for
Maybe not the best suited for them.
Yeah. I thought it was weird this season that you didn't have to get a coach into the stadium. You could
Yeah, it's a
actually
lot
make your way
different,
there.
wasn't it?
I was thinking that's not a great idea. It's the first time you've played each other in like 5 years.
And they've never been allowed, have they? Without.
I think it was all good really. I didn't hear any trouble of anything really.
Yeah, they parked all the. There was still a lot of fans that went from Ewood.
Yeah, they got buses in there.
They
Anyway.
parked all the buses outside the away stand, so they just got off the bus, and then I think they could just go straight into the stadium. So
Yeah.
I don't think it was too bad, to be fair.
So sticking on
I
the
think it
Burnley
could have
game.
been worse if we won, maybe.
Yeah.
Burnley
Do
fans.
you think?
Yeah, the Burnley fans wouldn't have been happy.
You think Burnley fans are worse than Blackburn fans?
Well, with it being at home, there'll be a lot of them fans
Yeah.
that would have been angry, I think. So
Yeah. Fair enough.
could have been a few
Yeah.
fans, maybe.
So I know you probably don't want to talk about the Burnley game, but I'm gonna have to ask you about it a little bit.
Yeah.
What did it feel like to not play? Oh, not even just as players, like you both like from Blackburn, come through Blackburn fans.
Mhm.
Like must have been a bit rubbish just as a fan, not even just a player.
Yeah, I was really like disappointed really not to be playing because I thought
It's quite a
I
weird
played-
decision as well. Like when the team list came out, I know a lot of people were asking why you weren't playing.
Yeah, just manager decided that he was playing someone else, and that's fine. Obviously, I was disappointed. I really wanted to play. Like these are the sort of games that you look forward to, especially as a Blackburn fan. Yeah. So yeah, I was gutted, and well,
Not much you can do now, is there?
yeah, especially as my position as well. It's not a position that you can come on usually as a
Yeah.
sub and affect the game.
Yeah.
I'm not
yeah.
like a forward player or anything, so
Yeah.
yeah, I was disappointed, like I said, but it is what it is. It's not my decision; it's the manager's decision, and that was that. So, but to lose 3-0 was also disappointing. I think they were better on the day. We didn't play great.
Why do you think that was though? Because you didn't look like how you've looked for the rest of the games you've been playing, especially recently.
I think, to be honest, we played probably how they wanted us to play. I think they pressed us.
Yeah,
Quite
so
well.
played into their hands a bit, didn't we?
Yeah. Whereas I think the week before they got beat by Sheffield. Watched a bit of that, and a lot of balls got put into the boxes and
Set pieces,
set
balls
pieces,
in behind.
corners.
That was what hurt them, really.
And I think we should have done that a lot more. I think that might have troubled them a bit more, but yeah, they were the better team on the day. I think
Yeah.
they deserve the win. There's no doubt in that. So
Yeah. At least you can get them at Ewood.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. When
That's
you
the
play
thing
at
about
Ewood.
football, you can always reverse fixture into
Is it April?
March, I think.
Okay, it's not that far away.
No, it'll come quick. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll be playing by then as well.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be.
Because a lot of fans were shouting as well for you to come on. Like I know you said if you did come on, it's not
It would have been a bit
generally not what you could have done.
Yeah,
but there were still people shouting for him to bring you on.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those like.
Not really.
It's hard to sort of affect the game or
Yeah.
bring anything to the game from centre.
When you need a goal, especially.
Yeah.
When you're down 2-3-0 or whatever.
What about you, Adam? You weren't even in the squad. Why was that?
I'm not too sure. Just obviously the managers decided on the team and the squad that he wanted, so it's just one of them as well. You know, his job is to choose a team which he thinks is going to win the game. So yeah, you just got to get on with it. That's football at the end of the day. So not much I can do now. Just got to try and get in the team in the next few games, really, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said earlier, obviously last season you were really close to getting in the playoffs and you kind of like dropped off towards the end of the season. You're in the same position again coming into the winter break this time round. What can you do that's different this time to make sure you don't drop off after Christmas? Like I know you've got a break now, but is there anything else?
To be honest, I think last season, I think personally one of the reasons why I think we just ran out of steam a bit towards the end. I think our striker got injured, Brereton, he got injured. I think we missed him. He was out for like 6, 7, 8 games, something like that.
Yes, when we
Towards the back end, so we missed him, and then I think we were performing all right, but the results weren't coming at all.
Yeah.
I think last minute goals from other teams killing us. Missed a couple of penalties, I remember.
I think
Just things were just going
Little
against.
things that
Yeah,
build up.
you look back on the season and you think, oh, just only if that
Yeah.
we'd have scored that penalty, or last minute of that game we'd have just seen it out and got a draw or hung on for a win or whatever. But that's just football, isn't it? I think there's two teams that are trying to win the game. And
I think even at the start of this season, though, been a lot better at seeing out games.
yeah, but I'd say that this season so far there's been games that we've won when
We shouldn't have won.
we probably shouldn't have won, and that's just how it goes. I think.
Just got to, even if you play it bad, you just got to try and find a way of winning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
I think if you get that winning mentality and you're able to win games, even sometimes when you're not playing great or not performing well, I think that's a good trait to have, and
Yeah.
you'll do well in this league if you can just keep winning and
Yeah.
get that consistency of picking up points.
And do you feel like being so close last season is like even more drive for this season because you know you can do it as a team?
Yeah, I think for me personally, yeah. I think because I played in all those games. I played 30 games last season, so I've had that sort of experience of, well, how we dropped off towards the end of the season and didn't make the playoffs, which was what we should have achieved. But it's a learning experience.
I think, especially with a lot of the older players that were involved last year, they know that it's like you're only, even like how the second half of the season wasn't the best, you're still only a few points off the playoffs.
Yeah, so it was
So,
like four points, something like that, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It's easily like from the position you were in and that we're in now. I think we've got a very good chance. We just keep on performing like we have been.
Yeah.
So
It'd be interesting if it's you and Burnley in the playoffs at Wembley. That would be great.
Cracky.
You definitely want to be playing that one, won't you?
yeah,
That'd be a good game, wouldn't it?
it's hard, isn't it?
The thing is, everyone can beat everyone, so there's no real gaps.
That's why it's good. That's why I like Championship football because it's more like a fair run throughout. Like, do you know what I mean? Whereas in the Premier League, you have like your top six, quite a big gap. Where there's like a few teams that are always kind of mid-table, and you always have your teams that are yo-yoing between Premier League and Championship. Whereas
that's the thing. I think the gap between the Championship and the Premier League's sort of getting bigger and bigger each year. I think the quality-wise, for teams to stay up
Yeah.
I mean, if you get promoted to the Premier League, and then as that club in the Premier League that season, to stay up is a massive achievement.
I think in the Championship, a lot of teams are sort of like up and down. You know, they'll be doing well, and then they'll have a few bad games maybe. Whereas in the Premier League, you got City and Liverpool and them teams, and they're just good every week. So it's sort of like you don't really have many chances to.
Yeah.
In the Prem, like obviously, if you go up from the Champ, you might have been good, bad throughout the season, and then if you go into the Prem and you do that,
It's like us now. Like we've won the most games
and lost nearly
the most games this season,
but we've not drawn.
because we've not drawn one game. And
That's
that just sums
interesting.
it up. I think that just sums it up.
Yeah.
There was a point where whoever was bottom, I think we'd lost like the same amount of games as them,
Yeah.
or similar amount of games.
Yeah.
But because we hadn't drawn, we won every other game. We were like second, and they were at the bottom.
Yeah.
So it was a bit strange, but if you got the points, then
It's just consistency and everything.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, as long as you don't lose a lot, it's kind of alright. But
yeah.
I feel like as well last season, you were either drawing or winning a lot of games, and it'd get into like extra time, and there'd be strange amounts of added time on,
Yeah.
and then they would score in that, which it happened. I think it was at Coventry,
Oh yeah.
because I was also at that game, and I was
I
just
scored
like,
that game.
yeah.
And I scored and to put us 2-1 ahead. Because we were 1-0 losing 1-0 at half time. Then Daki scored straight away, and then I scored, so we were 2-1. And just trying to see the game out, and literally the last minute of the game, they nodded it in at the back stick, and I think that was for me the point when we sort of like dropped off after that game.
Yeah, like properly dropped off.
Yeah, I think there was a sort of
Down.
the big after that game. There was a lot of like lads in the dressing room just like deflated, and it's just not there's not much like things you can do. I mean,
Fans
just
were
gutted.
still-
Everyone was just gutted. Like
Fans were still really optimistic though, because after each game you lost, they'd be like, okay, but we can still make the playoffs if this happens.
I think
And then you'd lose again, and they'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, but we can still make the playoffs if this. And you just kept like going down, and they were like making not excuses, but like we can still do it. And so it
Yeah.
got to a point where it wasn't actually feasible anymore.
yeah,
The results sort of went our way for a bit, didn't they? Even though we were playing back.
yeah.
But then just,
It was
it came close, to be fair, towards the end, didn't it?
yeah.
But just not enough, not quite.
Okay, Adam, talk to me about England, because that's really exciting.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the end of last year, I was on standby for England. So obviously, if anyone got injured or anything, then I might have been called up.
Yeah.
So I sort of knew I was in and around it, and then
Mm.
obviously the start of the season's gone pretty well. So I wasn't really thinking about it, but it was it was there in the back of my mind, like I might
If you're
Yeah,
not
with
in
a
and around
shot,
it, you're always like thinking about it, kind of.
and then so we had a camp coming up, and I spoke to, I think the manager spoke to me about it, because I think the England manager had spoke to him or been in touch. So I spoke with the manager about it, and he's just like, keep going. The manager's watching and stuff like that. And my agent had been speaking to the England coach as well. And then I made my debut against Stoke, came on at half time, played well, and then I played Blackpool.
I mean, you couldn't have timed it much better.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, couldn't have gone any better really. I played Blackpool, played really well, and the England manager was there. So
I mean, if they'd not picked you after that game, I don't think there's
Yeah.
much more you could have done to sort of.
that's what. Yeah. So I know I was in and around it anyway, and I think that sort of like sealed it.
Yeah.
So, and then when was it? October?
It was like international.
International.
Yeah,
Yeah.
September, I think.
Or was it September? So yeah, I think it was 10 days or something like that in Denmark. and there was like qualifiers for the Euros.
Yeah.
So we won every game. Who did we play?
You played Denmark last, didn't you?
Denmark, Montenegro, I think.
Montenegro.
And
Georgia.
Yeah.
How do I know this?
I don't know. Well, mind just went blank for a minute. So yeah, it was a good experience. Obviously playing with some of their best players across the country my age.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully I can, get in the team again for the next. There's another round of qualifiers, and then if you get through that, there's the finals at the end of the season. So hopefully, I keep playing well, and in March is the next qualifiers. Hopefully I get called up to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just good experience really. I mean, you play for your country, representing your country.
Must be a good feeling though.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Is it a lot different from club football?
For me, yeah, definitely. I think obviously Blackburn going through the academy, you play all the best academies because we're category 1.
Yeah.
We play all the other category 1s, which are a lot of Premier League clubs. So you play in Cities, Uniteds, and all them. As you're going up the academies, I think when teams like that come to Blackburn, they sort of like want to get at you and press you.
Yeah.
So most games you get impressed. Whereas at England, when you're playing, so when we were playing Georgia and Montenegro, they sort of sat off us because England against Georgia, you expect England to win. So, so they sort of like sat off, and it was sort of a slower game. I think we played Georgia first, or anyway, the first 2 games were Georgia and Montenegro, and
You came off the bench, didn't you?
came off the bench in both of them. And it wasn't easy, but it felt quite comfortable
Yeah.
coming on in those games, because I think they sort of sat off. We were already winning in both the games, and they sat off, so it was just like a lot of possession for us. And I think when you're playing with good players like England, you sort of rise to their level, or you play at the same level
Yeah.
as what you're playing with. So I think, yeah, I didn't, sometimes you think maybe you might find it a bit difficult, but I thought I coped quite well
Yeah.
with low. So yeah, it was a good experience. Hopefully I can do it many more times.
What was it like to have another Rovers Academy lad there with you? Obviously, Ashlett's got called up as well.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, Ash's
done it before, hasn't it? It's been a few times, right?
yeah. So I'm 2000. They do it in calendar years because internationally that's how they do it. So I'm a 2004, and Ash is 2005, but he got called up to 2004, and it was like both our first times with that squad.
Yeah.
So I think it made it easier, especially in the beginning.
It's good to have
And it
someone
was-
you know.
Yeah. But no, it's great, especially for Blackburn.
I was going to say, it says a lot about your academy as well. Like,
Yeah.
2 academy players coming through, both broke into the first team this season, both got called up to England.
Yeah, puts a good spotlight on the academy. Definitely shows that they're doing something right. So yeah, it's great for the academy and the club on a national level.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. So, sticking with England, what are your thoughts on England at the moment?
World Cup. I expect us to get through the group stages pretty
Yeah, you
comfortably.
would.
I'd be very, very, very disappointed if we got knocked out in the group stages.
I think I saw something. I think if we finish first in our group, and France finish first in our group, I think we play them in the quarters. If both get through the last 16.
I hate it when you look at that. Like, if you get through, you got to beat the best teams to get to where you want to get to anyway.
Yeah.
So it's irrelevant.
I don't know.
I think it depends on how the other teams are looking. I think the fact that, I think Brazil, Argentina might be strong this year. France, they're strong as well. The fact that it's in Qatar is quite really hot.
Might have a disadvantage.
I think
Yeah.
some of the South
Other
American
teams,
teams.
yeah.
Yeah.
Caught better.
Caught by, yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know where.
But it's tournament football, isn't it? You just need to like win
Yeah.
at all costs. That's
It sounds bad, but I'm not really expecting them to win. I don't think.
You don't think they'll get out of the group stages?
No, though I don't.
Where are
think,
you expecting them to
I think
stop?
I think if they got to the semis,
that's
I'd
good.
say,
Yeah.
you've done well.
Okay.
I think if we don't get past the quarters, that'd be seen as a sort of a bit of a.
I think you
Poor
just want to get better and better every tournament, and they got to final obviously in the Euros, semis in the World Cup last time.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's the final this time, but I'm not.
It don't feel like a World Cup though, does it? I feel
No,
like
it's
it's like it's raining now, like outside.
It's not summer.
Why is everyone not in the
Yeah.
pub in
Yeah.
England shirts?
This is 1 o'clock in the day as well on a Monday. Yeah, it's kind of hard to like
I
get
don't
back to
really.
that, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not really.
Like
as
at the
interested.
Euros, I remember.
It was just
Was
summer,
that last
wasn't it?
year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not this summer, just gone the summer before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I remember we was down at the local in Clitheroe Cricket Club. Everyone was in their England shirts, big TV. It's just like it's not the same, is it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. I'm still gonna watch everything and watch all
Yeah.
the games and
Yeah.
I'm watching it, but I don't think I'm not as interested.
Yeah, you don't feel as invested this time around.
no.
No, I feel like everybody feels like that. It doesn't
Yeah.
help that it's in Qatar either.
No.
So it's kind of hard to watch the games. But what do you think about Gareth Southgate? There's quite a lot of
I think
up and down opinions of him. I'm
Yeah.
personally quite a big fan. I think he's
I
quite
think
good in
he's
big
done-
tournaments.
He's done all right. I think he's done well.
I think he's done better than well. I think
How
he's
long
done
has he
very
been in
good
charge?
Yeah.
to
5
get to the
years?
final of Euros. That went to penalties, didn't it? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I was saying before, but I think he's built a good squad, and all the players are on board with him. I think his job can easily like get criticised. A few losses.
It's always gonna
We've
be
not had
criticised.
great form going into this World Cup, have we really?
No.
But I think he's done a good job, and let's see what he does this tournament. But I think in the back of my mind, I think he might leave or
Yeah, like either leave on a
After this-
high or
yeah.
leave because he has to after this
after
one.
this World Cup, because he's been in the job for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, like I was saying before, just new ideas, fresh faces.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a good thing. I think it gets to that stage with Gareth Southgate now where does he stay and just like what is it next Euros? Or,
Nice.
I think it
next
might.
Euros is
I think it might be time for
You
someone
don't.
else. that's all.
You don't really have a national manager for that long usually, do you?
No. And I think there's some good English young managers out there
But would
that
they
do
want?
well.
Would they want to? Who? Like who?
I think Eddie Howe's doing well.
But would he want to leave
Potter.
Newcastle?
I thought Potter, but then when he took the job at Chelsea.
Well, he's
Yeah.
struggling
I
at
thought
Chelsea,
it was-
isn't he? He's not well.
Oh.
And then he's got like people have question marks about Maguire. I know he's not been playing well for United, but he's always
He's
done
done well
well
in
for
England.
England.
Yeah. Same with Pickford,
And
though.
Southgate likes him, so
Just a bit of confidence, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's not the
tougher.
manager though that's the problem.
But that the manager takes all
He's,
the
Yeah, he
he won't
takes
just like,
He takes responsibility though, doesn't he? So it's,
yeah.
it's tough.
the manager gets a stick at the end of the day, and he takes all the.
Yeah.
But
I did see that Thomas Tuchel was interested in the England manager job as well.
I don't know how I feel about foreign
Foreign.
managers taking the England job.
I wouldn't mind it to be
Work for the
fair.
women's
But
team.
I know.
if they do well, I'm not really too bothered.
Yeah,
What
I
manager?
suppose.
they've got.
Yeah.
He's a good
Especially as
manager,
well if we
so
couldn't get one of the better England managers, English, sorry.
You prefer a good foreign.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt in how Thomas Tuchel, like,
He's a good manager.
he's one of the best managers in the world. He's done very well, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't say no to it.
Yeah. Okay. What are you thinking about the starting 11? Who do you think's going to start? Because it's been a bit like up in the air. I saw one that got released
yeah.
last night, which I think is on our guest other than Mason Mount. I hadn't put in.
I've not seen anything.
It was like
What names are getting thrown about?
Pickford, Trippier,
Yeah, like Trippier,
Shaw,
Stones, Maguire, and Shaw.
Bellingham.
Bellingham and Rice
Rice.
and Mount as well in midfield.
Like 10.
Then
Saka,
Sterling and Kane.
yeah.
I think
That's a strong team. What you were saying? Do you really need to play the strongest team against Iran?
I think
You want to win your first game though, don't you?
yeah, obviously you want to win. I think
USA and Scotland. I think that'll be tougher games.
I'd play Kane for 60 minutes, let him score a goal. Hopefully we're 2-0 up by then, and bring some players on. Just keep everyone fresh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But
just get a good win on.
Everyone in the squad's a good player, aren't they? They're not.
Yeah.
So I don't think if you play like not your preferred starting 11, I still think you're going to get a win against Iran, or you'd hope so.
Yeah, you just want to go out with a 2-3-0 win, get a clean sheet, everyone's happy, and then
Yeah.
on to the next game.
So you agree with starting 11, you would have done the same?
I would have changed a few players, but
I'd definitely play a back four, I wouldn't play a back three.
yeah, not back three.
4-3-3, something like that.
But to be fair, there's a few that are injured that are in the squad, aren't there? Like Kyle Walker's
Yeah.
Calvin
just coming back.
Phillips.
Calvin Phillips.
I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't put Calvin Phillips back in over Jude Bellingham though.
He's probably one of the first names on the sheet for me.
Yeah, I
it's-
think he's for most people, but he's not for Gareth Southgate, which I find really bizarre. I don't know if it's his age.
I think
Yeah, but I think he's proved the
Yeah,
last couple
I
of years,
agree, yeah.
especially even in the Champions League, he performs. So I don't see why he shouldn't start.
I think the biggest question marks are who he plays going forward, like
Yeah,
your Grealish, Foden,
you've
Sterling,
got so many
Saka,
options.
Rashford.
Yeah.
He's doing Maradona's in training.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I would always choose to start Foden over Saka. And because they both, it's annoying that they both play on the right as well. I would always pick Foden. I don't know why, I just like the way he plays football.
Yeah, I think
I think Foden.
that's the good. He's got options, hasn't he?
I think Foden. Personally, I think Foden's more effective, but I feel as though Saka always gets a goal.
Yeah.
He's always involved.
Yeah.
So, but I think I wouldn't mind playing Foden in like a 10,
Yeah.
just in the pocket, just behind
Yeah,
Kane.
Kane.
Yeah. Instead of Mason Mount.
Oh yeah.
Mason Mount, he gets about load and he's full of
Yeah.
energy. I kind of like him.
There's just so many options in there going forward, really.
Yeah.
When you think about
We
it.
could be talking about this all day.
We won't. Okay, that's it for my question. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I
Yeah,
hope you
it's been
enjoy
fun.
being on. Thank you so much for doing
Sure.
it.